Welcome, everyone. We're going to give our guests a few minutes to join the webinar. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi, everybody. We're going to get started in 2 minutes. So thank you for joining us. Okay, welcome to Stony Brook University Preview Week. We're happy that you've joined us for today's presentation, Make an Impact with Communication and Journalism. I'm one of your hosts, Amanda Mills, Assistant Director of Admissions. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the Admissions YouTube page later this week. Also joining me from Admissions is Ryan Donnelly, who will be monitoring the Q&A during the presentation with me. Please use the Q&A to ask questions for our presenters, and we'll save time at the end of the program to answer them. You can find the Q&A at the bottom of the Zoom webinar screen. Now, please join me in welcoming our first guest, Lori Kai, Communications Manager for the School of Communication and Journalism at Stony Brook.
Hi, everybody. It's so okay. I love you. It's so great to have you. It's weird to not see you, but we're all very excited to chat with you. I'm envisioning this as mostly an interactive Q&A, so let those questions rip. We are here for you. I am, as Amanda said, the communications manager for the School of Communication and Journalism. I've been at Stony Brook for about 4 years. I've bounced around different higher education institutions, but I got my start as a journalist in print media. I worked for a daily newspaper before jumping ship over to the public relations, mass communication, social media, website management, branding side of the house. And I am, as you may or may not know where I am right now. Where I actually am is my house, my home office, but my background is one of the most exciting spaces in the School of Communication and Journalism. This is our control room for our broadcast studio. The heads you see behind me are actual students running an actual broadcast. We believe firmly at the School of Communication and Journalism in both of our undergraduate programs, mass communication and journalism, in getting your hands dirty and getting busy with learning the technology and using the skills that you learn in the classroom, applying the knowledge, using communication, whether it's journalism or mass communication, which covers a gamut of things, to create a more fair, more just, more rational world through effective and engaging communication. So that's what we're all about. And I am going to kick it over to Kay, who is a senior in the Mass Comm program. Kay, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you like about the Mass Comm program, why you chose it, and then we'll kick it on over. Does that sound good, hon?
Yeah, good. So my name is Kay. You can also call me Zhihui. So I'm from China. So as Laurie said, I'm a senior student right now, and I actually choose mass communication major when I was sophomore year. The reason why I want to choose the mass communication is because I found like the courses is really interesting for me, especially for the research method and the research theory. Something like research related to research is really interesting for me. And actually, I used to be journalism major, and I just changed my major after I knew there is a new major in our school, and just because these research courses. And we have like a lot of like lovely teachers, professors, like they're very kindful and friendly, like Lori. And oh, what's the next question? Sorry.
Tell us a little bit about what you want to do once you graduate.
So actually I'm applying for my master degree. I applied like several programs, including like mass communication programs and like digital marketing programs, and like something related to marketing program, because my second major is business management with the concentration in marketing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Kay. And Maya, your turn next. Maya just graduated from our journalism program and is absolutely rocking life as a young alumna and young professional. So Maya, what drew you to Stony Brook, what you loved about the journalism program, maybe what you didn't love about the journalism program, and what are you up to now?
Okay, those are a lot of questions, so I'm going to keep them in my head. Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Maya. What drew me to the program? Well, I definitely wanted to go to a SUNY just because of affordability. And Stony Brook was the only school, I think it still is the only school with the journalism program, if I'm not wrong. So that was a big reason. And I actually did a high school program at Stony Brook called the Green Team, Robert W. Greene Institute for High School Journalists. And at that point, I didn't know I wanted to do journalism for sure, but I said, let me do a summer program to really immerse myself in it and see if it's something that, is my calling. So I attended that, and just seeing the equipment that Stony Brook had to offer, seeing the control room and being in the actual production of it all. Like we practiced anchoring and everything, and just doing that for a week, it made me realize I want to do this for life. So yeah, then I went to Stony Brook, and it was also only an hour away from home. It's also only like 2 hours from the city, but then you still are on Long Island. So you have like the beaches still, and the parks, and yeah, I think the location's great too. What I loved about it was from day one, like there's so many opportunities for students. I'm a little crazy and I like getting involved in everything. I also wasn't sure if I wanted to do print or broadcast or audio. So I tried to join a little bit of everything. The campus newspaper was my home. I could talk about that all day. So that was a big, and there's so many different outlets too, like the Press, the Statesman, Black World. There's so many different outlets, not just one paper. So you can dip your hands in a little bit of everything. I think that's one of the best things about Stony Brook is the opportunities it gives. The professors were great. I don't really have anything negative to say about any professor. And Barbara Selvin, who worked there for a while, she's passing on the torch to someone too. They're really helpful with internships and job opportunities. I tried to have an internship whenever I wasn't working or I had something, if I had time, I made sure to try to do an internship, and the school really connects you with those. You get emails like every week or two about different internships. So there's always just so many opportunities, I should say. And then what am I doing now? So right now I'm an associate reporter at NBC News. I interned with them actually last summer, and then I saw they had openings. And from what I learned at Stony Brook, I knew to contact someone who I previously worked with saying, hello, would I be a good candidate for this job? And yeah, thankfully I got the job and I started the week of graduation. So that was fun. And then I'm also a graduate student at NYU, getting my master's in journalism as well. And I'm in NYU right now in a little room. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's a busy life, but it's fun. And yeah, I wouldn't be here without Stony Brook, obviously. So.
And last but not least, JD, your
Hey,
whole life
everybody.
story.
My whole life story. Well, I'm actually a Stony Brook alum. I went through the School of Communication and Journalism. I'm a 2016 alum. And I had the pleasure more recently of teaching people like Maya. And, we're very impressed with our students that we spend a lot of time with. We are by no means the largest school at Stony Brook, but we are definitely one of the more involved schools at Stony Brook because of our newsroom spaces, because of our studio spaces like the one that you see behind Lori, and our smaller class sizes. Your professors really are, from a very early point, have a not only a professor-student kind of relationship, but like a mentor-mentee relationship and an editor-reporter type relationship, which is good to start to get used to have someone who's looking out for you to really make the best product that you can make. Journalism is a fun craft where you're in between a really white-collar professional task where you're with business leaders and politicians, and but then you're also creating something like an artist or like a writer, because you are both. You shoot video, you record podcasts, you write amazing narrative stories, about everyday people, and so you kind of live on this line between really polish and really, crafty. And you need someone in your corner, like an editor or a professor or a mentor, to kind of make sure that you're not screaming into the wind. And I say that because I work in radio now. So my education at Stony Brook through this program prepared me for internships, which is what I'm really passionate now as a member of faculty. And I, through my internships, I got involved in the public media universe, which is, National Public Radio and PBS, TV, and a lot of other nonprofit journalism spaces, which is really where I'm passionate in. And now I work at WSHU Public Radio, which is an NPR station and that has its Long Island News Bureau actually on campus at Stony Brook. And so as you're going from class, you can stop in and do 5 hours towards an internship and then move on to your next class, and it's all right there on campus. And it's a really important place to be for me because it allows me to not only work with students in the classroom, but work with them in a real life journalism place where they're creating pieces that are heard and read by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, like Maya.
It was a great internship.
And internships are great everywhere. Just getting out there and getting experience, whether it's doing communications for a small startup brand or being part of one of the largest legacy TV outlets like what Maya is working at right now. These are all really valuable experiences, and we can talk more about them over the next couple minutes.
So like I said, you all now know a little bit more about all of us, but this is we really want to hear from you all. So please don't be shy, ask those questions in the chat. Otherwise, you got 4 communicators, which means you got 4 really chatty people. We can go on for hours, but we want to make sure that you all get what you actually want to hear about and what you want to know about. So please don't be shy. Put those questions in the chat. We want to hear from y'all.
All right, so I'm gonna read these questions. The first question I had was what's the typical class size in the School of Journalism and the School of Mass Communications?
Sure. So we're one school of
I meant the
communication
major,
and journalism. Yeah, but we have 2 programs, 2 undergraduate programs within that. Journalism, which is our legacy program, we've had it for more than a decade, and mass communication, which we've had for a year or 2. Our class sizes are small. Our biggest class, which is going to be like your intro to mass media type class, is about 50 students. Our skills classes, our hands-on classes, where you're going to be learning those skills, going out, working with our video cameras, either to do reporting or to do other kinds of storytelling. Those are usually 15 students. The class Kay and I are in together that I'm teaching is 11. So very small, very intimate, which is great because your faculty know you. And it's not so great because if you don't do the homework, you can't hide in the back of the room because we will find you.
So next question is, I think that Mr. Allen.
Can I add something to that?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I just wanted to add something to that real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
No, yeah, I just wanted to say, I think the small class size thing is a big plus. And I always loved getting together with any STEM majors or like a business major or a science, technology, engineering major on campus. And then we were talking about class size, and I say, I only have like 15 people in my class. They're like, what? That never happens with their major. And yeah, I learned about all my professors on like a personal level too, and they became mentors. Like pretty much almost every professor I had became a mentor because of only having 10, 15 people in your class. And also your peers too. You guys become a family. Like some roommates with 2 of my peers from Stony Brook School of Journalism. So I feel like that should show you something too.
Yes, so someone was commenting on JD's when he mentioned how involved the school was with the community. Do different schools within Stony Brook often work together on initiatives, or are they mostly independent?
So kind of a two-part answer. One, we know how to have fun together. I mean, between our student organizations, there's stuff that happens through the School of Communication and Journalism, and then things that we do on a scholarship, academic level. So the student organization part, and Maya and Kay can definitely jump in here with their own experiences, that because our job is to be in the community, telling stories, we're everywhere and talking, and attending different events on campus or events in the community and documenting them, right? That is to be there and to record, the first draft of history, whether it's a really important political or a governmental event, or something really joyous. We're there. And so just because we're out in the community alone makes us really visible in the community. We see that through our internships. We see that through student organizations, publications like the Stony Brook Statesman, like the Stony Brook Press, like WUSB, the community radio station, like the studio work that we do through the School of Communication and Journalism, for events like Roth Regatta, which is an annual super cool Stony Brook University event where students make their own makeshift cardboard boats and sail across Roth Pond on campus. And we, as journalists and communicators, we do a live show about how students are doing and what's the progress of the race. I think, Maya, you're involved in some of those live events, right?
Yes, yeah, they were exhilarating, to say the least. Stressful, but.
So you got to be on camera in some of those, but also help to plan, right?
Yes, and yeah, you do interview. So it's all clubs and organizations and departments, and you get to interview them. You get to learn more about their boats, what it means to them. As a journalist, you're meeting everyone on campus. So yeah, JD is definitely right about like we're not together or anything like that, but we do meet a lot of people, meet professors, students, go to all the events, like you said too. You kind of become like that know-it-all friend in a way. Like, if your friend is asking about an event, like my friends would always ask me, oh, what is this about? Or what is this new announcement? They turn to you because you kind of learn all the information, you soak it all in. So.
And then there's stuff, Lori, that we do at the School of Communication and Journalism, like can start conversations and to foster conversations in the community that might not have happened without communicators like us getting the right people in the room to explain, something that's going on in the world or something that's going on in our neighborhood.
We also do, and Kay, I'm going to kick this to you in a minute here. We do a lot of cross collaborations in research. So many of our mass communication faculty have a specialty, not only in communication, but in climate communication, for example, or health communication and health disparities, and social media, the impacts of social media on different populations. So they are increasingly in demand to help other researchers around campus kind of figure out how messages are disseminated and understood by different populations. And our students, like Kay, are involved in some of this.
Yes, like for this semester, I have conducted my own capstone project, which is social media, TikTok usage and social anxiety. Actually, social anxiety, this topic could belong to the psychology department. So I also contacted with some psychology departments professors, and they were very happy to help me. And in addition, because social media could also be part of like marketing area, so part of my business professors were also ready to help me. In addition, this summer vacation, I attended a research project called meta-analysis. It's just analysis method for business parts. So for that one, it's actually combined not only in the professors in our schools, but also professors from I remember it's like Singapore National Management Schools. Yeah. So for our like schools activities, it's combined not only like independent, but it's more like to cooperate with different schools and for other schools.
Great. So we have some more questions coming in here. Are internships competitive?
Yes. Everybody wants an internship. You're competing not only with folks at Stony Brook who are applying for the same internships as you, but you're applying for potentially roles that other students from other colleges are applying for. Our students do have a good amount of success in finding internships because of the skills that they're learning in the classroom. And then after being a part of those internships, they're doing a lot better in the classroom too, because they're getting to use their skills. You know, there's something to be said about learning the theory and learning there's something to be said about learning how to ride a bike. And then being an accomplished marathon or triathlon, participant. When you learn how to do the video skills and the multimedia skills and the written skills in the classroom, those will correlate and help you get internships. And then what you're experiencing in the internship will go back into your classroom and really help you succeed and help whatever your next opportunity is, whether it's another internship or maybe it's a freelance or a job opportunity. I know I can speak just from my newsroom alone. At WSHU, we've had about 85 interns and fellows over since 2017, and about 2/3 have been from Stony Brook. And that is not because of proximity, that's because of skill. And so that skill matters.
I have two quick things to add about internships. One thing, internships for both of our undergraduate programs, mass comm and journalism, are not required. They are recommended. They are not required because we understand that not every student has the opportunity to, say, not work at, a more well-paying job, to take the time off to conduct the internship experience. Which brings me to the second point. We do believe firmly at the School of Communication and Journalism that internships should be paid. You should not have to be expected to work for free. And every single semester, I have offices from across Stony Brook coming to me saying, hey, I really need your students. I'm looking for 2 journalisms, or journalism and a mass comm, or 2 mass comms, or like I've got a social media team and I really need people. So we look out for those opportunities. We advocate for our students, and every semester I'm sending out, I'm sending students to different offices so they can have that on-campus experience if transportation is a problem, that also helps them learn, apply, and hone their skills.
I just wanted to add, sorry. Yeah, I love internships. Yeah, they definitely are competitive, but I truly believe that if you are a hard worker and you really want it, you're going to get your dream internship with a combination of having clips, or like having, so like if you like to write, having clips with the newspaper, clips from class, or if you're audio, interning with, WSHU, or just creating a podcast on your own. It's about having samples, and then also networking. Like, now I love networking too. I think networking is very vital to internships too. And through Stony Brook, you network with your professors. They're bound to know people in the industry, because a lot of them work in industry or did work in industry. There's the job and internship fairs, so you meet people one-on-one, and there's your chance, there's your opportunity. There's a club called Society of Professional Journalists. We also strive on bringing in on bringing in speakers, and you meet people through there. So it's just really about you know, putting your name out there and doing the work, and internships will be there. And never stop applying. Like, if you think I'm never going to get it, apply.
So one of the guests were asking, could I work in magazine companies with this job as a writer or creative director? Also, how much are the assessments we get creatively free? Also, how much are the assessments we get creatively free? Okay, thank you for the Zoom. So I guess I don't know, maybe the student's asking whether journalism or mass communication would be more appropriate first. And then do we have students that, you know, have worked in magazines as a creative director or?
Yeah, I mean, so the skills to be a good magazine writer, you're going to need good communication skills. You're going to need good journalism skills. You're going to need to know how to write well. And if you're interested in being a creative director, you're going to need not only skills to write well, but to plan well. And there are definitely courses at Stony Brook where you will learn in both tracks, communication and journalism, on how to write well and how to plan well. I will tell you that there are students who are really passionate about magazine and magazine writing. There is a campus publication called the Stony Brook Press that is magazine style. There are students who have had internships at really big magazines like Vogue, Cosmo. I think graduates have worked and freelanced for like the New Yorker and the Atlantic. So there are definitely skills that you're getting from this program that correlate to that kind of job.
So I get this question a lot too on the road. Can someone speak on more of like the sports-centered media and, you know, communications and journalism? So if someone wants to be a sport writer or a sports broadcaster, you know, what could we provide for them in the opportunities and experiential learning, that type of thing?
So I'll take this one, but feel free to anybody hop in with me. A lot of people, like Ryan says, a lot of people come with this question, right? The beautiful thing about sports journalism is that you're getting the same foundational skills to become a sports reporter as you are to become, you know, the cops reporter or the education beat or, you know, social media news gathering, which I think is one of Maya's titles. You know, but you know, obviously a lot of students come to us wanting that game day coverage, wanting that adrenaline rush of talking to the coaches and the athletes, you know, during halftime or whatever. So we do have a couple of faculty, one in particular who is, you know, worked as a TV news sports guy for years and years and years. He's got extensive experience, you know, because shooting a game, right, on video is a very different kind of video recording, video editing than other traditional kinds of news. So Professor Riciopo has those skills. He's got that knowledge. He is a wealth of information. The other thing that we can really offer is our school has a really tight relationship with Stony Brook Athletics Department. Several of our students have gone on to work at Stony Brook Athletics, and they are one of those offices that will take as many students, or what seems like they'll take as many students as we can send their way. So any number of our kids are working, you know, they're managing social media accounts for the individual teams. They're doing the live game day coverage. They're helping, you know, to Stony Brook Athletics just released an app to help fans experience Stony Brook Athletics. Our students are helping to develop that app, helping to market that app, not develop in terms of code, but like developed in terms of, you know, is this working? Is this what fans are going to want to see? How can we get the word out there? How can we do this better? athletics has a small army of students, and many of them come from the School of Communication. So again, it's that you learn it in the classroom and then you go apply it. And in this case, you're going from Melville Library to Laval Stadium. So it's not that far of a walk.
Can I add something? Because today we're just doing the final presentation for my capstone project, and I just hear Deanna's presentations, because Deanna it's just one of my classmates. She's double major in both journalism and mass communication. So for her topic, she actually choose how to use social media to help like Stony Brook University's athletes to earn more money just by through the social media. So I think not only in journalism, but also like in communication, you can have lots of way to connect it with sports as you want, just as like Deanna's do, how to like support these athletes to doing further. And I also like doing some researches and review some like literature before. Some people, they are actually conducting a research on how to like resolve the anxiety for the female athletes and how to make them feel more confident, self-confidence, something like that. So it's kind of like of two different ways to go through journalism and communication.
Sort of on that note, in a way, you know, studying different areas, studying different fields, but also studying in a different environment. The next question was, are there international opportunities that come with studying communications and journalism? So is there study abroad available in these areas?
So there is a program we call Journalism Without Walls. This is a program that has been on hiatus, honestly, since the pandemic. It's been a few years since we've done it, but we're hoping to find a way to launch it again in a way that's not really expensive for our students. Because again, we care about keeping y'all's costs down and keeping that debt low. But Journalism Without Walls is a 2 or 3 week experience where you start in the classroom at Stony Brook, you know, the spring semester, learning about the place you're going to go for those couple of weeks over the summer, laying the groundwork for the stories you're going to report, and building those contacts with the guidance of a couple of faculty members. We've gone all over the world. The cool thing about Journalism Without Walls is that you're going to a place that's actually newsworthy, but that is also safe. Right. So our students they've been to Korea, they've been to China, they've been to Cuba, they've been to Kenya, they've been to Russia. I think, where else have they been?
Istanbul.
Okay, they've been to Turkey. So you're going to places and you're actually reporting on things that you know the traditional professional media is also reporting on, but you know you're doing it with a couple of faculty you know, looking out for you, and you're doing it with a cohort of other students. Like I said, it's been a little while since we've done that program because of the pandemic, but we're talking about going to Venezuela. So we'll see if that pans out.
And there are opportunities for us to have international conversations here also at home. You know, through the Marie Colvin Center for International Reporting, which is part of the School of Communication and Journalism, we've been able to have conversations that are happening all around the world, but bringing them down to our Long Island community because of how diverse our community is. You know, we are in the bedroom communities of New York City. Everybody, every demographic of person lives in our backyard, and so to have conversations about Iran, combining countries, Iran, China, Russia, Latin America, you know, here, and bringing together experts and people from around the world is another way to have to foster these international conversations.
Okay, next question is, how much time do you get hands-on for each activity? Are you hands-on in the first month? So, again, I think students are looking at it as, okay, so we get this question with marine sciences too. So when do I get to do the hands-on stuff? Is it right away? Is it, so if you can give them a kind of an indication of.
Maya, Kay, you ladies should hop in here.
Yeah, I'll definitely say right away, it's really hands-on. Your first, of course, the curriculum is a little different from when I started, but I'm pretty sure it's still hands-on right away. I went, we have to do it's called man on the street interviews, and you're gonna have to do them as a student, you're gonna have to do them as a regular journalist, like working journalist as well. You literally go out into like a mall, into the street, and you interview people about a topic or a situation going on. And that also really just helps you. It's good to get it done now. So when you're in an internship or a job, you're ready for it. So it kind of gets those fears away. It gets you talking to people. So it definitely is hands-on from the beginning. You can also, sorry, I keep saying you can also join different newspapers right away. You don't have to wait. No experience is needed. You can join and get your experience there. Same thing with the production group. You can join in. It doesn't even matter if you're journalism or communications. You can join in and get involved. So it's definitely hands-on. The equipment room, I believe you start using the second semester, but then from then on, you're using it all the time. And then you're in the I forgot what it's called, in the lab. What is it called? The
Newsroom.
Yes, the newsroom, the lab, the newsroom. You're in the newsroom all the time too. And yeah, I would say it's pretty hands-on. You definitely get to use different equipment. There's so many different equipments to use too. And just for my final capstone, I tried to check out like almost every different piece of equipment to see what it did if I never used it beforehand. So don't worry about, not getting your hands dirty when it comes to journalism.
So for mass communication, actually, we have a course called media writing. So Laurie taught us, and there's another professor. We only have 2 professors recently to teach these courses, and it contains different courses materials. For that, professors, as I learned, like they will require you to write some like journalism writing styles sentences to practice your journalism like writing. And for Laurie's courses, you can also like we have like different writing homeworks assignments. As I remember, like my first interview writing styles work is happening in Laurie's courses. It's just to interview news story in our campus, and it's my first time to interview others. But also it's from the second semester, and you will have other chances after the second semester. We have like higher level courses to provide you to know how to do a research. So for research courses, you can choose to do a survey, share this survey with your friends, your family, and students in our campus. But you can also choose to interview others. So it's definitely like hands-on, but just after first semester. Yeah.
You actually kind of hit on the next question. So the student was wondering if you could elaborate more on the journalism program in regards to experimental methods of new types of media formatting in journalism. What they're trying to figure out is if it's possible to take classes that expand on the ways of creatively and better format and the way stories are actually written and published. Is our curriculum at Stony Brook more focused in the traditional sense, or are there opportunities to investigate the newer ways that journalism is being shared?
So you're going to start with the foundation, of course, of how to write a good news story. And you're going to apply that to just about every medium you can think of. We can build on that foundation through social media design, using whatever. Sorry, my dog has just discovered that I'm here and is going bananas. So I'm going to try to do this in between. Applying all of those foundational skills to your.
It's a squeaky toy here.
I might need somebody to take over for a second.
So to pick up where JD left off, you're going to start with that foundational knowledge, right? Because telling a story is telling a story, whether you're writing it, in a traditional newspaper, daily publication, or if you are going to be disseminating your story on TikTok, or if you're going in an alternative media channel or media space. The foundation of how do you find information and how do you put it together in a way that makes sense is pretty much unchanged. But once you've got that foundation, we absolutely encourage, expect, and will champion our students trying different ways of telling stories, packaging different things in different ways, and sharing information and talking to different people. We have, I think somebody said this in the beginning, the School of Communication and Journalism is not the biggest school at Stony Brook. We are, in fact, the smallest. That is an extraordinary asset because our students are not shy about telling us what they want to do and what they want to try next and what they want to play with more or experience more. And as much as we possibly can, we as a school are ready to lean into that and say, you want to do this? Okay, we're not quite sure this is going to work, but let's try it and see how this goes. And I'm actually going to kick this over to Maya because I know she's got stories that she wants to share.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, so you definitely do get, I experienced all the different mediums and I do feel like ready for, like I felt ready for where I was going to. In your final capstone, you also have to do, my professor and most professors, I think too, you have to do print, audio, video, and take photos and maybe have like a social post ready, so you really do get to experience all the different mediums there. And yeah, like a group of us too, like we went to the dean saying, hey, maybe can we try this or get this course to be taught. Of course, you have to find professors for that and funds and whatnot and everything. But I definitely feel prepared in every kind of medium from my curriculum. And I think it's adapting to like the more and more journalism is changing every day. Like Twitter may not exist in a couple months. And that's like, I use Twitter all the time in my job. So yeah, I think it's always evolving, but I think that the curriculum is evolving towards that too. You start at print, but then you end up doing, multimedia platform storytelling. So yeah.
So the dog is chilled. I can help. Yeah, so I teach that capstone level class. And so, yeah, students are kind of mixing all of the different mediums together to tell what their story is. And they work for several months, 3 months over the course of that semester. And in some projects, even starting a little bit earlier with some special projects to produce TV news packages, extended programs, mini documentaries, web video series, radio features, podcast mini-series, photo essays, and then really amazing narrative stories. And then it's not only thinking about what they're creating, but how are they going to publish? Is this something that's meant for the web? Is this something that's meant for the web but mobile? Is this supposed to be told, on YouTube, or is this supposed to be shared, through a Twitter thread? Is this something that is going to be published early on TikTok to get feedback from the public before a final piece is written? These are all the different types of stories that I've been seeing over the last couple of years teaching this class. I had an international student who was an amazing researcher who spoke like 5 different languages, and English was not her strongest. And so I worked with her and some other faculty on campus, and we wrote her capstone piece in multiple languages for different audiences in different mediums, because that's where her strengths and honestly where she's going to get the jobs are going to be looking for, because she has those skill sets. So if you have interest and desire and passion and skills in a particular area, let's build those up so that way you have portfolio items that you can be really excited about. In my classes, sometimes I lean a little bit science. I like science journalism. I also lean towards new practices in journalism, because the field of journalism is always changing. I'm one of a handful of educators in the US that teach something called solutions journalism, which is building on the foundations of journalism, to not only respond to where a lot of journalism stories start and finish, which is around conflict, but to move beyond conflict and to report on how people are responding to problems, because without responses, we're just going to be continued in conflict. And so, we have faculty who are really involved in kind of not just relying on where their skills were, but where all of our skills are going. And that's really important.
So that's it for the questions. I'd like to thank everybody here, especially those of you who are at work or or have just gotten home from work, especially our faculty and our students who graduate, our recent graduates. I thank you everybody for being here. I thank our guests for being here. If any of you have any questions about admissions, you know where to reach us. I hope you all have a nice week and a nice holiday. Take care.